Oh, where to go first? Where? So much winning. I'm going to go to Evan first because I feel badly for you as a Republican strategist having to probably take a lot of phone calls and texts from friends wondering what happened to all the winning. What happened to the winning?
Well, first of all, I feel great because I'm in a room with 5-to-1 ratio Democrat to Republican.
We try to keep
unlike
it fair.
8-to-1 in New York City where I live.
That's true.
But aside from being sick and tired of all this failing,
yeah.
I really am just stunned at the ineptitude of what happened the past 18 days.
Yeah.
This should have been a layup bill. You get a bill together with that all sides of the
They've had 7 years to come up with this bill.
We've had 7 years,
yeah.
and we failed. It's the truth.
Why do you think that there was no bill after 7 years of saying they were going to repeal and replace Obamacare?
Because the second you start putting in the details, you take away the campaign talking point, which is we will repeal and replace, and it's amorphous, and voters then project what they believe that to be onto it.
Yeah.
The second you contradict that, they might not support you.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do a round robin here and get you guys to say you have to win. You have to pick one of these two things. I'm going to start with you, Evan Siegfried. Which is going to be a bigger liability to this administration? Credibility or competency?
Competency. Donald Trump isn't credible with the middle or the left. He's not. He's very credible with his base no matter what he says.
Yeah.
The president gave his all in this effort. He did everything he possibly could to help people see the opportunity that we have with this bill. He's really been fantastic. Still, we got to do better, and we will.
You're confident in Speaker Ryan's leadership and his ability to get things done?
Yes, I am. I like Speaker Ryan. He worked very, very hard. A lot of different groups. He's got a lot of factions. And there's been a long history of liking and disliking, even within the Republican Party, long before I got here.
Donald Trump and Paul Ryan were still singing each other's praises after failing to pass the GOP health care bill. But how much longer will this bromance last? Joining me now, Republican strategist Evan Siegfried and CNBC Washington correspondent John Harwood. John, I'm going to go to you first to get the benefit of your reporting and what you're hearing on the Hill. We're already seeing the White House woke up to Breitbart headlines saying discussion about GOP replacement to Paul Ryan as Speaker of the House intensifies in White House Congress. Any truth to that?
I think there are people in the White House, namely Steve Bannon, who, before he was part of the Trump operation, talked about taking down the Republican establishment, taking down Paul Ryan. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. There is no plausible alternative to Paul Ryan. And I think it's important to point out that the failure of this bill was not about President Trump's failure or Paul Ryan's failure. This is a Republican Party failure. This is a party that has, for 7 years, talked about doing something to repeal, replace Obamacare, and they didn't actually have a credible, plausible idea. So it's not just about these two individuals, it's about the entire party.
And, you know, Evan, Paul Ryan sort of made, I guess, sort of, in a way, conceded that point, that it was a lot easier when all the Republicans had to do was just scream no to Obama and anything he said. But this was Paul Ryan talking about the difference between that and trying to govern.
Moving from an opposition party to a governing party comes with growing pains. And, well, we're feeling those growing pains today. Ultimately, this all kind of comes down to a choice. Are all of us willing to give a little to get something done? Are we willing to say yes to the good, to the very good, even if it's not the perfect?
Is there a recognition inside the Republican Party that this was a group failure? They had 7 years to come up with something to replace Obamacare with, and unless what Ron Reagan Jr. said in the last block was true, they just didn't want to replace it with anything. This is a collective failure.
Yes, many facets in the party are quietly saying, yeah, we really did muck this up. But the real failure here is between Speaker Ryan and President Trump. President Trump was being asked to whip for the bill. He didn't. He apparently didn't even know the details of what was in the bill. He's going out and calling it good, great, terrific, every sort of adjective he could think of that was so wonderful. And at the same time, he wasn't going over and trying to work with Speaker Ryan or bring in his plan that he talked about on the campaign trail that was great. Speaker Ryan himself didn't try and work with President Trump, and he didn't try and work with the Senate. This bill was written under the cover of darkness. They didn't let Rand Paul see it when he tried to, and it didn't even incorporate President Trump's own aspects into it. It was just a bad bill and poorly executed on all sides.
But, John, I get the sense that the reason that it went down that way is that Ryan was simply using Donald Trump to go out and sell this bill to his supporters, and they didn't have feel any need to let him know what was in the bill. But now now you're getting reporting from the New York Times that Donald Trump is, in a sense, blaming Paul Ryan. He's saying Trump has told 4 people close to him that he regrets going along with Speaker Paul D. Ryan's plan to push a health care overhaul before unveiling a tax cut proposal more politically palatable to Republicans. He's casting the blame on Ryan, at least privately.
Well, Joy, as you know, Donald Trump does not have a history of accepting blame, accepting responsibility for pretty much anything. But I have to disagree with Evan. I think if Paul Ryan was president, this bill would not have passed. Just on this question of opposition party versus governing party, the modern Republican Party is radically opposed to government itself. They're radically opposed to taxation. What is governing? Governing is about taking action to solve people's problems. They want government to do less rather than more. And so what they're trying to do on health care is an act of negation. It's an act of taking things away that President Obama did. Now, if they somehow decide they want to solve the problems of Obamacare and work with Democrats to do that, they might be able to get something done. But that's not who they are right now as a party.
And I mean, isn't that really the case? I mean, you have a party that just wants to, as John, I think, very eloquently said, just negate things Obama has done, but that there isn't sort of a fundamental desire to provide these things to people, even though Trump's election revealed that Trump voters even want these services. If you look at the approval rating of this replacement plan of the GOP, it was only at 17%, 56% disapproving. That's eating into some Republicans who don't like it either. And if you go back and you look at what's the one thing people really wanted Donald Trump to do, to get done, number 1 was create jobs. Number 2, destroy ISIS, cut taxes down there at 10%. But the idea of repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, is way down at 7%. This wasn't even fundamentally what Trump voters wanted done.
Yeah, a lot of Republicans in the party still believe that we can fight this battle of whether or not health care and access to it is a right. And we've lost, and yet they're still pursuing. It's like saying the South will rise again.
Right.
And the real honest thing is Speaker Ryan, Senator Cassidy, they've admitted the reality. Like it or not, it's here. And we need to improve it and make it more functional for the American people.
Yep.
Not talk about whether or not we remove it.
Yeah, lastly, very quickly, yes or no, does Trump stick with Ryan or do they split up?
Well, they're going to be the best of frenemies, let's be honest.
Yeah, John?
He sticks with Ryan, I think, but I also think that the prospects are brighter for tax reform. Why?
Right.
Because that's an act of negation that's possible. You're taking down people's taxes.
Yeah.
He wants to do that for corporations. I think they can get it done.
We're out of time. Evan disagrees with you. You guys fight that out on Twitter. We'd love to see that Twitter battle. All right, Evan, Siegfried, and John Harwood, thank you very much.